What's up guys, welcome back to more Reddit stories about entitled people, crazy people, and anything else we find interesting. And as usual, we'll be checking out some more Reddit posts today. So be sure to share your thoughts about today's stories down in the comments and let's get into it. I just received a demand letter from Enterprise Rent-A-Car stating that if I do not return their rental car, I will be charged with embezzlement and grand theft auto. I never rented a car from them. San Jose, California. I did not rent this car. The letter also states that I rented the car in Sacramento, but I do live in San Jose. My driver's license has not been stolen and I do not have any credit cards in my name, and I just checked my credit reports online but do not see anything unusual. I called the manager who sent me this letter and they told me that I need to file a police report and email it to them as proof that it was not me. I told them I will do that, but asked if they could provide more information that I can give to the police because in the letter, it says that the rental was made through a corporate account. However, they will not give me this info. I am waiting on my dad to get here to go with me to the station because I was with him all day on May 29th, and he can vouch that I did not do this. Update. Thank you to everyone for the advice. I'm also a she, by the way. Many of you thought I was a dude, but on to the update. After my initial post, I saw that many of you advised for me to call the manager and demand information from her because Enterprise is the one at fault, and I shouldn't have to go to the police for their mistake. So I did exactly this, and she told me that if I want her to give me more info, I would need to file a police report within 24 hours and email it to her as evidence that I am not the person who rented the car. If not, she would report me for embezzlement and grand theft to the Sacramento police. Upon hearing this, I decided to file a report immediately online with the San Jose Police Department. I know many of you said I shouldn't because it's not my fault, but after she told me the consequences, I did not want to take any chances where I could end up with a warrant on my head. I thought that if anything, filing this report would also prove my innocence if the police actually did come knocking on my door. After filing it, I emailed her the copy and she responded the next day, saying that she received it and to give her a call. When I spoke to her over the phone this time, she said that I was in the clear and finally gave me information about what had happened. On May 29th, a woman claiming to be me had come in to rent out a black Cadillac. She showed the representative her driver's license that had my information on it and paid for the car rental up front with cash. I thought that you need a credit card to do this, but apparently you can just use cash. The manager also says that she has video surveillance of the woman, which she will turn into the Sacramento police later that afternoon. The following morning, she emailed me the number of her report, which she filed as fraud, and said that the police opened up an investigation which she will keep me updated on. At this point, I was relieved to be in the clear, yet also pissed that some woman is out there impersonating me. I then started contemplating about taking a 3-hour drive to Sacramento to see who the hell this woman is. However, turns out I didn't have to because 2 hours later, the San Jose police did show up knocking on my front door. 2 policemen and 2 CHP officers. Before opening it, the first thing I did was grab the copy of the police report I printed because I seriously thought that they were going to arrest me. 2 squad cars, 4 officers, and 1 me. When I open the door, the first thing they ask me is if name of woman I do not know lives at my home. I tell them no, and that I have no idea who that is. Then they ask if I am OP, and I tell them that I am. They then begin to inform me about a car accident that happened in the nearby town of Fremont that morning. The accident was a hit and run with the driver fleeing the scene, but she dropped her driver's license, which they found on the floor. They then show the license to me and it's an exact replica of my driver's license. And I ask them how this is possible if I have my license in my wallet. They then tell me to go grab it, and after comparing the two side by side, one of them tells the others that the one they have is a fake. The black strip on theirs is chipping, but mine isn't. It's not supposed to chip. I then ask them if the driver was the woman who stole the car from Enterprise, and they ask me to elaborate, which is when I hand them my report. I explain what happened, which prompts them to give me more details about the accident. And they tell me that the woman was driving a stolen car and crashed into another vehicle, but she fled the scene in the black Cadillac from Enterprise. So basically, the rental car was used as the getaway car, and was identified by the witness in the other vehicle. I told the officers that I have the plate number of the vehicle in the demand letter, and they write that info down as well. I then asked them who is the name of the woman I do not know, and they told me that she is the one who stole the car. However, I am not sure how they know that. Fingerprints maybe? But they did show me her mugshot and we do not look alike at all. I don't know how the hell she was able to rent the car in the first place, but whoever rented it to her probably didn't even check for a comparison. But after this, the police then thanked me and told me that they'll call me when there's an update on the case. I do have her name now though, and after doing a Google search, I found her Facebook and other social media accounts. I'm very tempted to message her, but I've decided to leave this to the police, because I have no idea who she is, and don't know if she's dangerous. She might be gang affiliated or something, and she does know where I live. However, I do hope that they catch her. There's a moving truck blocking my driveway and I have to leave for a wedding. Location is New York. The renters next door are moving out. Their U-Haul is one of the big effers and it's blocking 75% plus of my driveway. There's no room to go around it and my car can't make it up the curb. I'm going to a wedding today. It's a little over 100 miles away and I need to be on the road in about an hour. I'm gonna take an Uber up there if necessary, and we'll probably have to do the same to get from my hotel to the venue and back. I'm hoping to catch a ride home with someone in the morning, but don't like the odds, so that's probably gonna be another Uber. Looks like this will cost a little north of $500, which isn't a life-altering expense, but I don't intend to shrug my shoulders and eat it. What I've done in order starting around 9 a.m. Knocked on the door, no answer. Tried the same a couple more times since then, still no answer. Called the homeowner. He gave me 2 numbers. I left voicemails and sent texts to both. No response. He's also trying to get a hold of these assholes. Nothing yet. Called the police. Said they'll send somebody over. They haven't sent somebody over. Called a few towing companies. First 2 didn't have the right equipment to move this type of truck. The third sent a guy out to take a look. Same issue, but he said they wouldn't be able to get the truck linked up either way because it's parked about a foot behind a full dumpster. Wonderful. Took about 7,000 pictures of my truck and my driveway. Guess I got some photography experience points? Questions. I definitely want to sue these pricks if I have to shell out for 200 plus miles of Uber rides. Will I have a case? Is there anything else I should do? Thanks. Appreciate the advice I received anyway. I tried the fire department, but they said it'd be a while before someone gets here because this isn't an emergency. The truck isn't blocking a hydrant or anything, so I get it. Edit. The clock ran out and I've got an Uber coming to get me. Edit 2. I'm officially en route to the wedding in an Uber. The homeowner / their soon-to-be former landlord is going to swing by this afternoon to make sure the truck is gone, and he's promised to make sure my driveway is clear by the time I get home one way or the other. Update. I'm just going to call the neighbor's landlord Bob because the neighbor's landlord or the homeowner creates some awkward sentences. Bob texted me shortly after I got to the hotel yesterday to let me know that he'd tracked down the neighbors. He followed up to confirm that the truck had been moved while I was at the wedding, and I just got home to an unobstructed driveway. I'm actually heading right back up there because my wife and I took a few days off from work to do some hiking in the area. She was in the bridal party and all of the bridesmaids had been up there since Friday. Bob wants to cover my expenses himself, then see if he can figure out a way to get reimbursed from the security deposit. I'm going to decline this offer because I know New York is a very tenant-friendly state, so it seems like Bob's plan could end with his soon-to-be previous tenants putting him over a barrel. I'm not going to go into detail, but he's a great guy who only started renting his house out because of a crappy situation he found himself in a couple of years ago. I'd feel terrible if he wound up in another crappy situation by going out of his way to make things right for me, when that shouldn't be his responsibility in the first place. Some of yesterday's righteous indignation has faded, and I'm starting to think it might be a good idea to forget about the money. It wasn't enough to have an impact on my budget, and letting it go would allow me to wash my hands of these assholes altogether. I'm going to put it out of my mind for the time being and focus on the mini vacation that my wife and I have planned. Thanks again for all the advice. Update 2. So it turns out the Craphead family didn't do a particularly good job of planning their move. Their lease actually ended on September 15th, and Bob had already given them 2-week-long extensions without charging any additional rent. Bob didn't do this out of the goodness of his heart. He won't be moving back into the house until mid-November at the earliest, and decided to take the path of least resistance so he could wash his hands of these people with minimal conflict. The Crapheads asked Bob for another extension last night. Apparently a bunch of their furniture didn't fit in the U-Haul and they won't be able to pick it up for another 2 weeks or so. Bob told them this won't be a problem as long as they reimburse me for the Ubers, which caused a bit of a temper tantrum, but they ultimately agreed to it. I'd actually decided that I was going to let the whole thing go because, much like Bob, I just wanted to be done with these assholes with minimal conflict. My wife and I are still upstate until tomorrow morning, and according to Bob, the crapheads will be en route to their new place by the time we get home. Probably stating the obvious here, but I'm more than happy with the way things turned out. Some people in the Best Of forum had some very nice things to say about my response to the situation, and I appreciate those comments very much. That said, I know that choosing to forget about $500+ in order to avoid a headache isn't an option for everyone, and my wife and I are very aware of how fortunate we are to be able to make that type of decision in the first place. She suggested that we should figure out a way to take a pay-it-forward approach now that we're going to be reimbursed, and I'm 100% on board. We're currently leaning toward donating to a rent assistance or eviction prevention fund. I'm also definitely taking Bob out to dinner or something as soon as he's moved back and settled in. Once again, thanks for all the advice and kind words. Ditching my friend at airport for doing a stupid prank. I went overseas with 3 friends. We live in the US. One of them was having her partner pick her up when we got back home. I was the ride home for the other friend. We were about an hour away from the airport. He had the bright idea to joke when going through immigration, that when the officer asked where we're coming from, he thought it'd be real funny to tell him North Korea. We went to Seoul, South Korea. So we all get pulled back into secondary questioning because of this dumbass. They let me and my other friend out when we showed our passports, itinerary, credit card activity showing we had been in Seoul the entire time. Then they let us go. They kept the moron back for about 2 to 3 hours before letting him go. I just went straight home and refused to wait for him. It was late, so he had to get a hotel by the airport, then rent a car to get back home. He said I should have waited for him. I said, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You're lucky you didn't go to prison or have passport revoked. Anyway guys, hope you all enjoyed today's stories. If you did, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Reddit content like this. So stay tuned for more and I'll see you next time.